Alright, so this is the first seat I reupholstered myself. I think it did pretty decent. I did buy a 20 gauge crown nailer from Harbor Freight. But this is how it looks on the back side. This I could probably staple down. Yeah, I'm gonna staple that down more, but that's it. I'm gonna do a video of the butt cushion just so you can kind of see how everything's looking. I think it's nice and tight. It's not loose. It's not saggy. Nothing. All right, this is the seat bottom for the cushion on the back for the back seat. So this came out pretty good too. It went pretty quick, but this is just flat. So I'm gonna video the seat back for the original. Excuse the background noise. And I'm gonna go ahead and video that. See how that goes. This one should be a little more tricky to me, just because of all the extra curves. I'm gonna go ahead and do the main seat back. So I'm gonna heat it up a little bit, maybe try to get some of the wrinkles out and make it more stretchable. I don't go crazy with that. Alright, so over here you see I'm heating up the material. Reason for this is to soften the material, especially if it's a little chilly outside. It might stiffen up a little bit, so if you heat it up, it should make it a little easier to stretch and make it a little more pliable. Now you see I got the seat back for the front seat. I'm going to go ahead and insert that inside the seat cover. Be sure to have the right side up. So you insert it. And it fits pretty tight, and I'm heating it up again to just try to get it stretchable. Ideally you want to stretch it over that curve, but if you notice I'm putting the staples towards the front, which was a mistake. Do not do that. Okay, so I realized I made a mistake, so now I'm taking that staple out. And the reason why it's a mistake is it's visible from the top, so you don't want to do that. Okay, you want to put it over, and ideally you should be putting it where my thumb's at. So I still have the staples in the wrong spot, and it's pulling out because it's there's holes there now from the staple that I pulled out. So I got over that hump, and that's where the staple should be going. Okay, you do the same thing on the bottom side, and then and stretch it there, and you put a couple staples to hold it in place. And ideally you want to just make sure that you have enough to hold and where it's not going to pull. So now just confirm that it's centered. You see there's a crease there, and my goal is to work that out. So just make sure that you start from the center, and then you start stretching and pulling in a way that you can start relieving those wrinkles. So once again, I got some staples in a bad spot, so I'm pulling it out. And I believe at this point, that's when I realized I kind of made a mistake and put it in the wrong spot. You can see I kind of messed that section up, which I'll show you how I overcame that little problem that I ran into. So just staple, stretch, staple, stretch. Basically, that's the whole concept of reupholstering. I've never done this before, so it's the first time for everything, and hopefully you guys enjoy this video and enjoy me struggling a little bit. So as you can see, I'm still stapling. Just keep stretching. You want to make sure you're stretching it as tight as you could so you have a nice tight fit. And as you can see, I'm just adding staples as I go. The flat areas are not too bad. When you get around the curves, it gets a little more difficult. You got some spots that do have air gaps where the seams are, where the piping is located, and that's because the shape of that seat cover is a little different than the shape of the seat. So just keep folding over, stretching. Pay attention to how much material you have, because you're going to see in that far right corner, I'm going to have very little material to play with. So just kind of gauge it. It's either A, the seat cover was not designed properly, or B, it's a flaw on my end where I didn't do it properly. I would probably go with B because it's a possibility I should have probably adjusted a little better. Also, if I can give you a word of advice, when you are stapling, be sure to staple away from your body. I know in this video I probably stapled towards me a few times. Make sure you're stapling away from your body, just in case there's an area that the staple goes through and it doesn't hit you, or you don't shoot yourself with a staple. And then also, if you do have to go towards your body, just kind of aim it down at an angle so you know it's not going to hit you if it does go through. So that's that corner I'm fighting with now. The two corners are a little more difficult, but like I said, I believe I had more issues with that other corner. The tricky part is by the piping, because you gotta figure out how to fold that. So if you can't fold it properly, you might have to cut a little slit. I don't fully recommend that, so don't do it and then get mad at me if it doesn't come out right. Just because it might make it a little easier to fold over. But I just went ahead and folded over the best I can, and my ultimate goal is just to make sure it looked good from the front and from the top side, wherever people could see. This backside that I am putting staples in, nobody's really gonna see it because you have the back seat kit that covers that. So I did purchase this product. It's called Hitem, and it makes the job look a lot cleaner. As you can see, it opens up, and you could go ahead and add staples in there. So that's a result. I think it came out pretty good. You still have that little wrinkle in it, but I haven't really seen any seat cover installations without a little wrinkle or two in there. So I'm not trying to justify that for myself, but that's what you got. So you can see I got the Hitem in there. It covers up most of the staples. You see a few of the staples protruding, but it did a great job covering up. You got that staple that was protruding that you just saw. And ideally you would cut the excess fabric that we just saw as well. And once again, I'm showing you how this product works. You open it up and you install the staples in there, and then it closes back up and you don't even see it. So that's how it looks. Now there's that band that you see that's going across the top. All that material, that excess material, needs to get cut off so it looks a little more clean. You got this band, which unfortunately camera, there it goes. That is covering the mistake. From the back it does not look that great, but from the top and from the front it looks good. You know, it doesn't look out of place. So basically what you guys saw was the final product of the seat kit installation.